Welcome back to His and Hers movie podcast. This is episode number 25, featuring the found footage horror film called Followed, which we just seen in the drive-in this past week. It is July 4th. That's right, Independence Day. Happy July 4th to everybody out there. I am one half of your hosting duo, JP, podcasting out of southwestern Pennsylvania. Carly, where you at?
Same place, southwestern PA, like 10 minutes away from you.
Yeah. Have you heard any fireworks yet?
Yes, they were just going off a few minutes ago, and I was at my aunt's all day swimming, and she has 3 dogs, and we could hear them in the distance, and she's upset because she knows they're going to be upset, and they were already quite upset. But, yeah, I keep hearing, like, random, sounds like shots in the dark, and I'm sure it will escalate from there as the night goes on, because right now it's only 8 p.m. here, so we shall see.
It's 8:42, actually.
Almost 9 p.m. here, so we shall see.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I feel like depressed kind of because I didn't do anything but sleep today, but it's really not my fault.
Yes.
Because I had like a crazy last couple days, man, just insane with work. Like Thursday I worked 3 to 11 and I went home, and then I was off on Friday. Right? Was I off Friday?
I believe.
No, I wasn't.
No, you weren't. You worked that night.
I worked Wednesday night 3 to 11. I came back for Thursday night 3 to 11, and they told me that the night auditor had quit, so they needed somebody to stay for night audit. So I worked from 3 to 11 and then started the 11 p.m. shift till like 2 a.m. And then somebody else took over for me, but they didn't really know what they were doing, so I stayed on property, and they called me at like 3 a.m. to like come do something, so I never got to sleep. And then I went back in, I went helped it out at like 3 a.m., got done at like 3:45, went back up and went to sleep for, I don't know, like 2 hours. And then by the time I got to sleep, it was only like 2 hours of sleep that I got. And then I woke up and went back for 9 a.m. to and I guess this would have been on Friday at this point, 9 a.m. to 7, or 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then, what day would that have been? Friday, right?
Yes.
I think. What's today?
Today's Saturday.
Oh, yeah. So it was Friday. And then I got done at 3 p.m. and then I went back to sleep for a couple hours, and then I came back for last night, which was Friday night at 11 p.m. I got off at 7 a.m. this morning, so I got like 2 hours of sleep in like that in that first day, and then the second day it was like 5 or something, and then I'm about to go back in here in a minute.
Yes.
So I feel like I wasted this. I was actually off today at first. So yeah, I think I'm at 80. I'm at like 82 hours and like 45 minutes right now for the past 2 weeks, and I still have 2 days left to work on this schedule. So, a little bit on this week's schedule. So, and then I don't have a day off for like a handful more. So I think I'm working like 10 in a row or something, but I did like 12 shifts in 10 days is what it's going to end up being, or like 12 and a half shifts in 10 days. It's not like overwhelming, like amount of work. It just is like annoying more than anything. But I think that, having like the 4th of July off for like the first time. I mean, I think I had it off. I've had it off like the last couple years, but like never. Did I have it off? I don't even remember if I had it off. There was a few years where I worked it like every year, but I think that I worked it last year because I wanted to give the rest of the staff it off, so I just took a different day off in the week off. But this I don't know. I'm hearing fireworks going off right now, and I was thinking about like life stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I used to get really excited for the 4th of July, but I don't now. Like, I don't really even care, and normally it's just another day for me. Besides the fact that I do watch, like, either I Know What You Did Last Summer or Jaws or Return of the Living Dead or Silver Bullet.
I don't get excited for 4th of July or Memorial Day or any of those holidays that aren't the major ones, really, but I just miss.
Well, 4th of July is definitely a major one.
I mean, just like, when I pretty much only count Halloween and Christmas as like my major holidays.
Halloween's not even a real holiday.
I know, well, for me personally, it is. Anyway, I just feel that I miss the family gathering a lot, and I get kind of sad about that. But today I spontaneously just kind of went over to my aunt's and like invited myself over to swim in her pool because it was so hot and I didn't want to sit at home and I didn't really have plans. So I did that, and it turned out to be nice because they actually were making food, and they gave me like a hamburger and stuff like that, like potato salad. So it was just nice to hang out with her a little.
Thanks for bringing me some, considering I have no food right now.
I actually did.
Really?
Yeah, but you came at me twisted, looking like a bitch kid all day, so I don't think you're getting any.
Really?
I was gonna get to that, but
wow.
I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna have to pick that up before I go into work then.
You might not have the time.
I know. But there's they were showing fireworks down the road here.
Yeah.
They do it like every year. I was gonna go. And then my friend who like I haven't talked to and like or hung out with in a couple years, Abby, she actually messaged me and said that her brother was having like a little party. And you know, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but from when I was like in like middle school till like I don't know, like 25, her brother had a 3rd of July party. Actually, her two brothers, one passed away unfortunately, and her mom and like family would always throw it was like there was like the family party and then there was like the after party, but they would throw like these massive parties with like tons of food, and like they lived on like a farmland, and you could see fireworks from like everywhere there, and then they would buy like $1,000 worth of fireworks or something, and you know everybody would chip in and get like kegs and stuff like that. And I like some of the hardest partying I ever did was at those 3rd of July parties. They always had a 3rd of July party and a Halloween party, and every year they were just epic. Like they would always do huge things. And it was funny. She was like, "Yeah, Josh is having a little party," and but it's funny because we're all old now.
Yeah.
So she's like, nobody's probably gonna be there because we're all old now. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But you know, it gave me a little nostalgia because I was like, man, I could have actually went to that tonight if I didn't end up working. And I don't know if I would. I mean, I kind of wanted to, but at the same time, like, I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking about all these things right now about, like, I don't even want to get into it, but, like, kind of not the greatest things, I guess.
Yes.
Basically, like, I'm thinking of, like, how everything could kind of be the last time you ever do something.
But a stop.
You know what I mean? Like, you know that old saying, like, one day you and your friends went and played outside for the last time and nobody knew it?
Yes, buddy, I don't like that saying.
Yeah, that's kind of the stuff I've been thinking of a little bit lately. And it's sad because I'm like, you know, like that. I went to one of those parties for the last time, you know, years ago and didn't know it was the last time. Yeah. I watched fireworks with my grandparents for the last time without knowing it was the last time. And I was thinking about like how I should have tried to make it more of a point to do that again this year.
Yeah. No, I think that's stuff too. I'm very big, especially with my family, I'm very big on if they ask me to do something, I pretty much never say no unless I really have a big thing planned to where I can't cancel on it. Because you never know, you know, like family is very important to me now. So yeah. I'm the same way, but, you know, it is sad, and things change, and the holidays do make me sad because...
Would you say seasons change, mad things rearrange?
I would not. That has nothing to do with this combo.
Seasons change, mad things rearrange, right?
Yes.
Play
I don't feel like singing.
Play me in the autumn. Play me in any order.
I'm not really in the mood to sing on this ep.
I thought we were supposed to sing on all eps. Watson said so.
I feel pressured by that. I feel.
What do you feel like?
I just feel that, well, I did a lot of singing on this Cut to the Chase episode I just guested on last night, so.
What the hell did you sing?
What did I sing? Oh, yeah, I was like, oh, we got into a conversation about Creed, because Creed had music in 90s things, and I was saying how I love them.
Conversation about trash.
So I was like...
When you got into a conversation about trash, where you guys like, I don't really like wastebaskets, I like dumpsters. Like, I don't really like the white garbage bags. I like the black trash bags.
Dude, you don't even know who Creed is.
Where you're like, do you get scented or non-scented trash bags?
What if I said Creed was a rapper? You would feel so dumb, because you love rap.
Creed is not a rapper. I know who Creed is.
Creed is a great MC.
No, I feel like Creed is like, you know who listens to Creed is like redneck white dudes who have like a little bit of like ghetto in them. That's who listens to Creed.
That was like the worst. No, not at all.
Yeah, dude. People who listen to like...
That was like not all a stereotype. That wasn't clever in any way. That like...
No, that's who listens to Creed, dude. Like white people.
Yeah, dude, but white people listen to rap music and like rock and roll and all music. Country music. Like... Yeah.
Country music. Do you want to be lumped in with them?
Dude, Creed isn't country music.
I know, but I'm saying like white people listen to rap and rock, and black people listen to rap and rock for, sometimes. No black people really listen to country music unless they were literally like born like country. You know what I mean?
Well, Darius Rucker sings country music.
Yeah, trash.
Nobody.
I hate country. It's horrible. My tractor blew up and I'm sad.
Okay, I'm not defending country. I agree. I hate that too. That is how it goes. It's like, I spilled my beer on God today, but I prayed it all away.
Is that real? I feel like that's a real lyric.
I know, it probably is. Damn. But anyway, yeah, so... Why did we...
What is Creedence Clear River Water Revival?
I don't know.
What? Creed. I just think Creedence. Creed.
I don't know. I don't even know what Creed means.
You don't?
No, but we shall move on now.
Okay. Besides that week, I had I don't know. I probably can't talk about this yet, but I had something crazy happen where I was working. Basically, there was a harassment thing that happened, not involving me, like a racial profiling thing, and it blew up kind of, and I was like, oh crap, this could end up looking bad, but I wasn't involved, so I'm happy, and I actually had a good interaction with the dude who's all got profiled and stuff, and we were cool, so I mean, hopefully it doesn't come back on me in any negative light, but yeah, it was stupid. It really was stupid. It was dumb, and hopefully nothing major happens about it, but my apologies to that fella.
Yeah, you just telling me about it was the epitome of racial profiling.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't even
stupid.
Yeah, there was no way around that one. It wasn't oh, well, maybe, it was a little suspicious. It was actually, legit.
Mm-hmm.
I hate people.
Right, yeah. Uh-huh. It's just dumb. It was a stupid thing that somebody did that they tried to justify, and it just didn't work at all.
Get backfired.
Yeah. So, yeah. Maybe I'll get into that another time, but I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it right now. So.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't even know why I brought it up, but.
You guys get the gist, though.
Yeah. What else? I think that's it.
Pretty much. I had a decent week, you know. Didn't do much.
My
Went
week is
mini
a
golfing with
blur.
cousins. Yeah, I bet. You literally live at work.
It was weird, dude. Like my days are like, it feels right now like I'm like 2 days ahead, because like
Yeah.
I worked like 4 times in like 2 days.
Yeah, I don't even. You were asking me like, oh, was that Friday? I was legit just agreeing with you. I don't even know because you've been working. Yeah, I feel like you haven't actually left work, even though you're home right now, technically. So
Yeah.
I feel bad, but you're collecting that bread.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I like that. So anyway, let's get into the things that. Oh, dude, oh man, we gotta debut our thing today.
Oh no! Oh no!
Blind spot.
Yeah,
So do you want to do that after what we watched or before?
just let's do it after.
Okay.
We can run through all
All
this
right.
stuff real
So let's see. What we watched. I will go first because I actually thought I didn't watch anything, but I did watch more than I thought. So I'll kind of go quick through this because we are on a little bit of a time crunch here. But I will tell you this: the last like 4 days, I haven't watched a single movie. I've just took off the whole entire John.
Yes, I feel you.
So, all right. Are you sure I didn't review Basket Case?
I don't think the last one I have written down for you was Haruku the Gobdick.
And but see, that it's weird to me because I watched Ernest after Haruku, but you said I talked about Ernest.
You did, like, yeah, because I also had watched Ernest.
All
And
right.
I didn't, yeah.
Okay, so Basket Case. I watched the last drive-in version with Joe Bob, as this was part of the 2018 24-hour marathon that Joe Bob did. And if you guys have followed me for a long time, you would know that me and Jeremy actually did a live stream to coincide with that, where we live streamed us reacting to it for 24 hours. And it was like one of the hardest things I ever did in my life, really. And that's pretty messed up, but it really was. It was so hard to get through that. And me and Jeremy both talk about it all the time, where like we're like, that thing is a blur. Like, I don't remember a damn thing from it.
Yeah.
All I remember is like the movies getting picked, and then like I remember, like I pretty much remember everything for the first like 5 movies. Like it was like Sleepaway Camp, Rabid, The Prowler, something else. I don't remember, but it was like the like 6th movie or something was Daughters of Darkness, or the 5th movie or something. And that's where I tuned out, and I don't remember really anything besides Lacey coming on.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember anything?
I mean, I don't remember the movies because I couldn't really watch along with you guys because my thing kept kind of screwing up. I just remember, the first one was supposed to be Tourist Trap, wasn't it? And
Oh yeah, it was Tourist Trap, Sleepaway Camp, The Prowler, Rabid, and then I think it was the 5th one was Daughters of Darkness, I think, and that's where I tuned out kind of. But they played Daughters of Darkness, which is a slow like Euro vampire lesbian film, or Spanish. It's either Spanish or European, I don't know. It like just like was done at like 5 a.m, and it was like a horrible time for that.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it was a blur, and I just didn't remember a damn thing after that. And it was like before, like when they showed Basket Case, I don't even remember anything about it, so I decided to rewatch that. One thing that I'll say about that section of the marathon is like, you watch Joe Bob now, and he has like a ton of content, like at least like a half hour of content of him in between the movies. Like back then, I swear his segment was only like 20 minutes or like 15 minutes altogether for Basket Case, so he didn't really say a whole lot. At least it felt that way. But yeah, I love Basket Case. One of my favorite movies. In fact, it is actually, I think, tied with Scream for the most watches in the last, like, since I've been keeping track. I think I'm at like 7 or so watches for Basket Case in the last 8 years. So nearly every year I watch Basket Case for the most part. And it's what's cool is like I've even seen it in the drive-in and stuff. So, but yeah, it's like an 8.5 out of 10 for me. Love it. And then we have Basket Case 2, 1990. I just felt like doing a little Basket Case marathon because Basket Case 3 was 91, and I recently picked up 2 and 3 on Blu-ray, so I figured I might as well watch 2 as well. And honestly, I just don't really care for the 2 sequels that much. Basket Case 2, I like a little bit less than Basket Case 3. I like the freaks and like the concept of Belial meeting like another person like him and stuff like that. I just think the Dwayne stuff is all over the place, and it just doesn't really feel like the same movie. The grittiness is gone, and it's replaced with cheesiness. Then I watched Followed, which obviously we'll get to. And then me and you watched The Pit and the Pendulum together.
Yes, we did.
1991 film, part of my run through 91.
Yep.
It's an Edgar Allan Poe adaptation. I've seen the original like Vincent Price one, but this is a Stuart Gordon film, and it stars Lance Henriksen, and Jeffrey Combs is also in it. And Lance Henriksen gives a really twisted performance. He kind of steals the show a little bit, but the production value in this one was like very good, man. It was very high. It was sort of a, twisted little movie there. And I was actually fairly impressed with it. I thought that it played out really cool with the way that I think it's like the 1600s, but like the witch hunts and stuff, and the witch finders and things like that. What do they call them? The Inquisitors, I think.
I think so.
And how they're lying, but like then Lance Henriksen has this sort of like this lust for the lead girl that they suspect of being a witch, and he is like punishing himself for it. It's just really twisted, but I thought it was great.
Yeah, I liked it too.
I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. And then I watched the newest Netflix sex crime documentary called Athlete A, which is brand new film following a couple of actually more than a couple, like a ton of Olympian gymnastics girls, like teens, who were literally sexually molested by this physician who worked for the Olympics for like decades, I think. So this guy worked as like part of the Olympic committee, like the US, like for gymnastics. Like he was a physician, and he would give these girls like massages and stuff like that, like because they needed massages like daily pretty much from like all the training they would do. But like then he would like examine them, and he would basically like stick his fingers in their vaginas and stuff like that, and I think even their butts at times.
Oh no.
But and like they would just think that it was normal, part of like the procedures, and like they had to check certain things and stuff like that, and they kind of knew about it, but like they weren't sure if it was like an issue. And then they were also worried, like because they were on the like trying to be on the Olympic team, that like that might cause problems for them. Just a classic case of power and abuse, and like the Olympic committee was just turned a blind eye completely to it. It was really pure scumbaggery. But one thing that I took away from that, besides that, just like it seems like anytime there's these like scandals of like molestation and stuff like that, it's almost like everybody turns a blind eye or tries to cover it up. I've seen it time and time again. It's pretty crazy. And then the other thing I took away from it is like just how amazing women's gymnastics is. It's truly remarkable, like what these athletes are able to do. Like I was like obsessed with just like watching them do these like it doesn't even look real. Like, it looks like it breaks physics and stuff, some of the stuff they do, but very impressive. And I do feel bad for all the girls that were abused and stuff like that. It's messed up, man. But that was I think I like that one better than the Epstein one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I watched Cloverfield as part of the Teapot Summer Series 2008. I actually need to get back on those 2008 watches, but yeah, Cloverfield follows. Have you ever seen Cloverfield?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I remember. You know what's crazy? The 2008 is a very, very like notable year for me because I think about where I was when all these movies came out. Like, I remember being at a party at this girl Tiffany's house, and she was like the same girl that I got the underage drinking with. She was my friend's brother's girlfriend. And it was around the same time. I think 2008 was when I got that, but it was yeah, it definitely was. But my friends like Butt and Tyler came back from seeing this movie, and I was like, and of course, like, I was into movies and stuff, so I was like drinking when they got to the party. I was like, yo, how was Cloverfield? And I remember them being like, it sucked, you don't even see the monster. And I remember just not thinking like it was probably gonna suck ever since then. But like, I think that like the general audience always like, that's like such a general audience like thing to like criticism, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they don't realize that like not seeing the monster a whole lot adds to the tension and the suspense of it. Mm-hmm. So when you do see it, it's like more scary. Like, and I know that as like a film fan, but like to the general audience, they're just like, we don't see the monster, this movie sucks.
Yeah, kind of like it comes at night.
Right. But you know, so I was thinking back to that night when that happened, and I was like, I think I seen it a couple years later, but I've always loved this movie, dude. It is a really good found footage film. Like, it starts out in New York, and I just love the New York setting, by the way. Like, especially like 2000s. Like, I love the 80s, obviously, in the 70s New York, but like 2008, like, you know, sort of young person trying to be like successful in life, living in New York City is like fun to me. Like, what's that?
No, that's just random.
What do you mean?
That just young people trying to be successful in New York.
Well, like I was, there's a word for it, but like
like, I don't know, it's weird.
No, like, did you ever like How I Met Your Mother?
Oh, yeah, I guess I know.
It's like the same feeling.
Yes,
like, it's like you know, like young, I don't know what the word is, you know, just people that are like living in New York City as like being young and having like little get together things at like their apartment in New York, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and like that, like all the people there seem like they're like just starting to be like starting their careers, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I don't know if that's a real subgenre, but I'm saying like I like movies that are set up like that. But this one's really shortly, it's set up like that very fast, you know what I mean? It runs through that little section, but I think that section's good because it does build characters and stuff like that. And then just all hell breaks loose, and it's just really cool, man. It feels like a true disaster film, you know what I mean? It's part kaiju, part disaster film, and found footage, and it just blends really well together. And what's cool about it is like there's a clip in the movie that shows like what happened earlier, the like day before or something, and you can see like this satellite or like this something like fall into the ocean from that dude's camera. And I never noticed it like for years, but did you ever notice that?
No.
Yeah.
I've only seen this movie like twice.
So like, you know how like they're filming on the dude's camera that he spent the couple days with the girl that he had a crush that they...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, when it keeps cutting back to that footage, at one point in the footage when they're at like the pier, like Coney Island or something, there's a, like, you see something fall from the sky in like the corner of the frame and into the ocean. So that's kind of like alludes to the fact that that's how the whole thing happened.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, it's a very fun movie. I really dig it. I think the only issues with it is one, like the camera dude's a little bit annoying and has like a little bit of too like comedic lines, and then it feels a little bullshit that like this dude would traverse like this entire city filled with monsters to save this girl in her apartment that's like fell in on her. Seems a little ridiculous, but it's okay. Give it an 8 out of 10. It's really fun movie. Then I watched The Strangers 2008, also part of Teapot's summer series. I've always had like a decent relation. And again, dude, like I thought back to when I first heard about The Strangers. Me and my friend Marty, he was living with me at the time. We're actually in this same room, and we would like go to school and then come home and like, I don't know, just watch TV or something, like kick it after, you know, we'd go outside and do shit or something, go down my friend's house. And then when we get back at night, we just throw on some movies or something. And we watched, like a trailer came up for The Strangers, and it was like, you know, why are you doing this? And it's like, because you were home, type that like little line. I remember we both looked at each other and was like, dude, that looks scary as hell.
We're home. Oh.
Yeah. And I finally saw it, and I thought it was good, but I like expected more out of it. This is a film that like the more mature and the more like film knowledge you get, the more you kind of appreciate what it did, because it is a slow, deliberate, like slow burn, like slow paced, like tension building, not really tension, but more suspense building film. Like it's all about the slow build up. And I really kind of like that about the movie. It's old school horror at its finest in that type of way. I think the strangers are really creepy, particularly the scene where the girl is home alone in the kitchen and the male stranger like appears in the background, a la Michael Myers, is like super effective for me. And I just think it's probably, in my opinion, the greatest attempt at a found footage film that I could think of, really.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Not a found
what?
footage.
Oh, yeah.
Home invasion.
Yeah, I love The Strangers. I love the score, or the soundtrack rather, in that movie too.
Yeah, and The Strangers 2 would have been amazing too if they wouldn't have pussed out. 8.5 out of 10 on that one. And then I watched The King of Staten Island 2020. The new Judd Apatow film. Starring Pete Davidson, who I didn't really know of too much. I first noticed him in like the Machine Gun Kelly music video. But yeah, so this film follows Pete Davidson, who is a sort of little slacker in Staten Island. His father had died as a firefighter in when he was a kid, when he was like 7 or something, and he loved his dad a lot, and it kind of messed him up. And he hangs out with a bunch of losers who just smoke pot and have no drive, except for the girl that he talks to, and has like a friends with benefits relationship with, and she is trying to actually get her life together and go to school and stuff like that. And he thinks that his head's all messed up. Like, he just thinks that he's like kind of a messed up person. But he's at the park one day, and there's this kid that, like, he's an aspiring tattoo artist, but his tattoos suck. And this kid rolls up on him and all his boys, and they're at like the beach or something, and the kid's like, they're like, yo, what up, kid? And he's like, what's up? And they're like, this kid's cool, man, just being like funny, and like telling the kid to hang out with us and stuff. And the kid's like, what are you guys doing? He's like, I'm giving tattoos. And he's like, I want a tattoo. And he's like, for real? He's like, what do you want? And he's like, I want this. And he's like, all right. And he starts tattooing this like 9-year-old. And the kid freaks out when the needle hits him and like runs away, and he just has a line down his arm. And then the kid's dad like shows up at the dude's house, and like the mom, because he's like 24, and the mom is like all like, I'm sorry, the dad's played by Bill Burr, who you might recognize from F is for Family.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The voice of the dad. He plays the dude, and he's a firefighter. And then him and the mom start having a little bit of a relationship, and the kid played by Pete Davidson doesn't like it. And it's just like a kind of a drama. It's like 2 hours and 17 minutes, but it flies by for me. Like I loved this movie. I was so invested. I saw so much of myself in the Pete Davidson character in different ways. Some ways I didn't, but some ways I did. And man, it was just a very good movie. I wouldn't describe it as a pure comedy. It's not like Knocked Up or one of those films from Judd Apatow where it's like straight comedy. It's more like downbeat, and it just has funny moments. But I really fuck with Pete Davidson's like style and shit like that. Like I like, he wears like Wu-Tang shirts and stuff like that, which is cool. But yeah, it's a really good movie, man. I freaking loved it. I give it a 9. Best film I've seen of the year, I think.
Should I watch this move?
I mean, maybe.
Oh, I see.
And then we were supposed to do an episode on 22 Shots this week. The Uninvited versus Tale of Two Sisters, remake versus original. I watched The Uninvited 2009. We ended up not doing the show. Mood's canceled. But it's basically, a very similar movie, following a sister who gets out of a mental hospital, comes home to her family, and her new stepmother thinks her new stepmother might have been involved in her mother's death. And she tries to like deal with that with her sister. Pretty cool movie, pretty cool end, but yeah. After that, we got The Ruins. Oh, by the way, The Uninvited, I thought it was a pretty decent remake. Very similar movie though. The Ruins 2008, also part of the Teapot Summer series. Basically, it's a contained horror movie. It follows a group of characters who go up to a Mayan ruins and like a pyramid type thing, and the locals basically trap them up there because there's these killer plant like things all over the pyramid, and they don't want them to get off. It's honestly, like, people get thrown off by the killer plant aspect. I actually like it. I think it's cool. And I figure, like, why not? People roll their eyes at killer plants, right? Like, oh my god, killer plants, these plants make cell phone noises and stuff. But I'm like, but you have no problem with, like, giant sharks that, like, stalk people. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's the same, like, it doesn't matter. It's all supernatural horror aspects, you know? Who cares if these plants couldn't exist in real life? They exist in the goddamn movie. Mm-hmm. The thing that is awesome about this movie is it has great contained horror aspects, survival horror aspects, and just gnarly gore, dude. Just like disgusting, cringeworthy gore. I love it pretty much. 8.5 out of 10. Then I watched Basket Case 3. Finished up that as part of my run through 91. Number 32 there. The coolest aspect of this is Belial has babies, which is the coolest, funnest part of this movie. Other than that, it's kind of weak to me. I think that it's better than part 2, but not by a whole lot. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Cool.
And I think that's it.
Yes, that is it.
Is it?
That is surely it.
I started I like halfway watched a couple things. Like I started watching Jaws on 4K this morning when I got home, and I got about halfway through, so I need to finish that up, which I'll probably finish it up when I get back from work.
Yeah.
As part of 4th of July, and yeah, it's 4K, so.
Yes. Alright, well, I guess it will be my turn now.
Hurry up!
Alright, okay, so I watched The Pit and the Pendulum. No, I feel like I have to. The Pit and the Pendulum, which you already talked about that one, but I dug it, and I don't really like period dicks, but I thought this was decent, and it was kind of brutal, and like, it was kind of out there, so I enjoyed that one.
Pretty good for full moon, huh?
Yeah, as per my run through 91. And then after that, I watched, as per my run through 91, I watched Puppet Master 3. I didn't rewatch part 1 and 2, but yeah, part 3 is definitely, it's the one that like kind of moves the best, I would say. Like, it's got the most going on for it, and it probably is arguably the best one out of the series. So I like that one. It's not my favorite. Like, I don't love those movies to begin with, but
it's not
I
your
think
favorite Puppet Master?
It's not my favorite series, like Puppet Master.
Oh, yeah.
series. Like, I don't love them to say, like, wow, I'm a diehard Puppet Master 3 fan, but I think, part 3 is good for what it is, and it's definitely the best out of at least the first 3. Then after that, I watched Atrocious. I think this is 2010. This is from. It's a found footage movie. I believe this is one Brandon had sent me back when, a few months ago, and like I said, it's a found footage movie, and it's a Spanish movie, so it is subtitled, and it's about this family that goes on this trip, kind of in this secluded, wooded area. It's a mom, dad, and 3 kids, and the 2 oldest kids like to make little films on local urban legends, or, just any urban legend, really. And they're investigating an urban legend out in these woods to pass the time, because they really didn't want to go on this trip. It was a whole family thing they were kind of forced into. And while they're there, stuff starts to go wrong. I dug this movie quite a bit. It's pretty short. I think it was only like 75 minutes. And it just gets to the point. They go out on this trip. They're kind of exploring the woods a little bit, and then stuff starts happening. Like the dog kind of runs off, and just some creepy stuff happening at nights. And then the ending kind of is reminiscent of Blair Witch Project, where you have a lot of running through the woods and a lot of chaos, and just all you can really hear is like scared people, and the camera's kind of shaking, and it's actually pretty effective and creepy, so I dug it. Quit texting 91 chat, please. Thank you. Anyway, so that was a good one. I gave that like an 8 out of 10. Then after that, I watched 30 Days of Night Dark Days, which is the sequel to 30 Days of Night. It's a direct-to-DVD
I thought you said you only watched 3 things.
I lied. This is pretty much like it. But this movie, I'm just trying to go through my collection at this point. I had some time to like run down the line in there, so that's why I watched this. This movie, it's actually continues on the story where you're kind of following the wife from the first movie, and she is trying to, I guess, avenge her husband's death by going around and trying to prove that vampires are real, and that this happened to her for 30 days, and her husband died, and all these people died, and vampires live among us. And of course, people don't believe her and kind of laugh at her. Then she meets up with this group of other outsiders who have had the same experiences, and they track down the lead, I guess you could say, vampire queen vampire. She's like kind of the head of it all, and I guess if you take her down, you can take them all down. So that's pretty much the story. I surprisingly like this, because I'm not huge on 30 Days of Night, but I dug this one because it does have continuity. It's obviously recasted. It's not the same girl. It's not Melissa George playing the wife, and you don't really get Josh Hartnett obviously playing. You get some scenes from the original movie, and it's just completely redone. So you do have that, but it's not a glaring problem to me. Effects aren't too bad in it, and the story's actually not too bad. It's definitely like a cash grab from when Twilight was coming out. It's one of those vampire films that came out like in lieu of all that craze. So it has that kind of inspired feeling to it, especially with them trying to hunt down the bad guys. That's very Twilight-esque, but other than that, I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was decent. It had some good parts, a few actually scary parts to it that I enjoyed. So overall, I was surprised by it. I gave it like a 7 out of 10. And then lastly, I'll just say last night I did a commentary, as I mentioned earlier, on I Know What You Did Last Summer, 1997. And I did that for Cut to the Chase with Lacey Dan and Jerry Herring. So that should be out soon. It was a fun time, kind of impromptu, late night thing we did there. And it gave me a reason to watch I Know What You Did Last Summer. I probably would have watched it tonight, honestly, because it's the perfect 4th of July movie to me, besides Jaws, of course. But that was fun. I never thought I would do a commentary on I Know What You Did Last Summer, but I did. And it was pretty easy to talk about, especially with that many people on. You don't really have any silent moments or anything like that. So I enjoyed that. And that is that, besides the blind spot move that I had to watch. So,
all right, let's do your blind spot. Go ahead.
All right. I was selected to watch Speed from, I believe, 1994. And Speed is basically, you have this cop, or it's like a pairing of cops, and I think, is the young Keanu Reeves, is he like a new cop? Is that kind of the thing?
I don't think he's new.
Okay, well, he's kind of, it's him,
He's
and then
just
you
young.
have, Yeah, okay. Then you have Jeff Daniels, who's obviously a bit older than him, and
What's Jeff Daniels' name?
Harry. And this movie, fun fact, came out in the year 1994. And if you guys know of Dumb and Dumber, he played Harry in that as well. So rumor has it that while he was filming both of these moves, he would be like hanging out with his mom or something, and be like, "Oh, I gotta go play Harry," and she'd be like, "Which one?" And he'd be like, "The serious one." And then the next day he would be like, "Gotta go play Harry," and she'd be like, "Oh, which one today, honey?" And he'd be like, "Oh, the dumb one."
Dude, you're stupid. That didn't happen.
Why?
Come on.
That's how movies work.
All right, so what's up?
All right. So Speed, yes, you have at the beginning of the movie, it opens up. There's this big scheme going on with Dennis Hopper, who plays the crazed, completely insane bad guy in the movie, which he tends to play in every movie he's in. And he's doing this. He has this plan with this elevator where the elevator is supposed to break, but Keanu Reeves and Jeff Daniels, they come to the rescue and stop that from happening, and they think that everything's well and good.
He planted bombs on the elevator, buddy.
Yes, he planted bombs on the elevator, buddy. Sorry, I forgot the beginning a little bit. I forget what I thought I wasn't going to like this movie at first. Let's just say that. So that happens, and then, the two of them get these awards, and they think, like, job well done. But then they come to find that Dennis Hopper's character is still alive and at large, and he's pissed off that his plan fell through. So he has devised a new plan, and he gets in contact with Keanu Reeves, which I forget his name in the movie. Jack. Okay, yes. He gets in contact with Jack and says, essentially, there is a bomb, much like the bombs going off outside my house. There is a bomb.
This sets the mood. Yeah, a lot. This sets the mood. It's fireworks, guys.
Yeah, I could actually see the flashes in my window, so it must be right there. But yeah, so he says there is a bomb on a bus, a big bus, that just takes, not a school bus, just a regular bus that transports people, and it will it'll be triggered once you hit 50 miles per hour, and if you then go below the 50 miles per hour, it shall go off. What do you do? And Jack is like, oh shit, and then he runs to the bus, and of course he's not, like, on time, and the bus driver, he's trying to stop it before anything happens, and the bus driver hits that 50 miles, so the rest of the movie is basically Jack trying to figure out how he's going to save all these people on the bus, and he has to make sure that they keep driving at 50 miles per hour, and he has to try to, take down Dennis Hopper's character, and of course, the guys behind the scene, like Jeff Daniels and that, are on the case as well, trying to figure everything out, because Dennis Hopper, basically, it's all about, he wants ransom, he wants money, and this is his way of getting it. Yeah, I really enjoyed this move.
Really?
Like I said, I didn't think I would at first. I don't know, just the whole beginning scene, I was like, I feel like this is going to be, like, over the top, kind of almost action or something like that. That's, like, the vibe I was getting for some reason. But I ended up liking it. When you get to the bus stuff, first of all, it's scary, because I'm thinking, like, after watching it, I was driving down the road thinking, yep, I would be dead. Every time I hit 49 miles just driving by myself, I was like, up, yep, I would have died just now. I feel like that would be very hard. I would be so stressed. And Sandra Bullock's character, she plays, the main girl in it, and she ends up kind of taking over the bus and driving. She just seems so cool with it, like, the whole time. She's just driving along, and I'm thinking, I would not be able to do this. And funny thing about the movie, they're kind of, at first, they don't, obviously the freeway, eventually roads end or there's traffic jams, so they're kind of veering off and almost hitting people and wrecking into cones on the side of the road, and it reminds me quite a bit of how I would drive in Grand Theft Auto while running from the cops. So I thought that was rather amusing. But overall, I mean, it's a solid movie. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, and I like all the characters. I like Sandra Bullock's character, and the relationship she kind of develops along the way with Jack, and I like good old Harry. He's just that typical older, weathered cop who's been in the game for a long time, and I think he does that really well. And he's, Jack is kind of like his little protege in a way. And he's like, after a while, it kind of gets old and scary and whatnot. And then this guy is put to the test right away. So I dig all that. And I thought I enjoyed the end of the movie. I think Sandra Bullock, I got annoyed with her at the end because I thought she did some dumb stuff. But that is women.
So what did you think of Keanu Reeves' acting? Because that gets a lot of hate a lot of times.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't that jarring to me. I thought he was just the typical young, he's obviously very young in this movie, and I don't know. I didn't really notice any flaws with his
It's
acting.
funny. Keanu Reeves went from being like hated by a lot of people to absolutely adored. Like the community just loves Keanu Reeves right now.
Yeah, because I think I've heard before, not just in that movie, I think I've heard people diss that guy's acting in other films as well.
Oh,
but
yeah, for sure.
What movie?
And now it's like, what?
I think Neon Demon, everyone said how bland he was, but that whole movie's like, I felt like that was a bad example because that whole movie's supposed to be kind of like that. But
no, I think he's awesome. I've always liked him. I thought he's good at playing like different characters too. Like he plays the dumbass as well. He plays like meathead cops well. He plays like badass John Wicks well.
Right.
He's just a cool dude. Like I think one of my favorite performances from him is in Knock Knock. Oh,
I haven't
so
seen.
Good.
See, I don't think I've seen a lot of his movies. Is my thing.
Some people just don't like him.
Yeah, not a big fan of his name. It's kind of annoying to say, but
yeah,
I don't, or his facial hair. But he doesn't have it in this movie and looks rather attractive. But yeah, I didn't mind him. I thought his acting was fine. I feel like I don't notice flaws with acting unless it's really just horrible, mediocre.
There's some spots
acting
in here where it's a little odd performance wise, but yeah. Anyway, let's move on here.
Yes. I gave that an 8.5 out of 10, by the way.
8.5? I think I gave it like a 9 maybe, but because I watched it again too, and one of my things that I love so much about it is no CGI, and it's all practical like bus effects and stuff. You know what I mean? They just don't make movies like that anymore. And like I love like the Los Angeles back then. Like it just looked so cool, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you just know it's Los Angeles. One of my favorite parts of the movie is when he takes that black dude's car, the like nice convertible.
Yeah,
and then he jumps from the car to the bus, and the black guy's like, "Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit." And then he wrecks into the barrels.
Yeah, he legit just ruins that guy's day, and that's the last you see of that guy.
Right, yeah. All right, so we're going to do my blind spot here. I have a randomizer. This is what I'll be watching next week. Of course, remember, we get one skip, so the one that I'm getting is 12, which is Overboard.
Yay, I love it.
I didn't want to do that one.
You didn't want to do any of them, so you're doing it.
I'm skipping that one.
Buddy, come on, we don't have time for this.
Don't have time for my first skip?
We only get one skip, don't we?
Yeah.
Why would you you're really gonna make, what if there's a movie down the line that
That was actually the one I wanted to watch the least, I think, so I might skip it.
Are you kidding me, bro? It's like actually probably better than some of the other ones I have on there, so.
Really?
In my opinion, I like it. I think you would like.
Crap moves, dude.
I know, but.
Whatever, I will watch it.
Alright.
Damn it.
Dude, it's literally, you're gonna be like so like, wow, I should have listened to Harley.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. You're gonna give it like a 10.
No, I'm not. All right, come on, let's go.
Okay, let's go. We shall talk about the move.
All right, the final movie here that we're going to talk about is Followed, which we went to the drive-in and seen. It was playing with The Wretched, but we decided not to stay for The Wretched again because we've already seen it. But yeah, so what is it about?
Followed is basically about this popular YouTuber who wants to gain more subscribers. So his pretty much his gimmick is he goes to like haunted places and explores them, but usually just the outside of them, and makes YouTube videos out of it. So he wants to kind of up his cred, and he finds out about this cursed hotel. And he decides we're going to actually stay here and see what happens, and stuff happens. So that is the gist of it. It's found footage. It's all from their point of view filming and trying to make YouTube vids. So what did you think?
I thought that it sucked. Like, seriously, it was the worst movie I saw this year.
Yeah, dude, it was rough. I mean, it starts out with this guy, obnoxious. It's that obnoxious,
He's
over the top
doing this
YouTuber.
thing, like, where he's trying to emulate, like, you know what it looks like to me? Is it looks like a character who is trying to emulate other YouTube popular characters. Like, he's trying so hard to be... Like, I understand putting on a performance. Like, I even do that sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But like, this guy is going so far beyond and feels so fake and lame. And I don't know if that was intended to be... Like, I don't know as an audience if we're supposed to intend, like, to look at it like, oh, like, he's being fake for the YouTube thing, or like we're supposed to look at it like, oh, this is what a YouTuber looks like.
I think it was supposed to be that's what annoys me about these movies, is they always up the social media or YouTube stuff or anything popular. They always up it to the point where it's a parody almost, but I think it was legit supposed to be, this is how you, because he reminds me of like Shane Dawson or someone like that who just has millions of subscribers and they crack stupid jokes and are in your face and act like they're always happy and excited about everything they talk about. But sadly, I feel that beginning portion was almost the most entertaining part of the film, and it was...
Yeah, you said that while we were watching it, and I was like, eh.
I mean, I was, like, annoyed by it, but I was like, okay, yeah, he's checking out these cursed places, that's kind of cool-ish, but it just goes...
Is it coolish, though?
I don't know. No,
we've seen it so many times now.
To me, but I know. It's just... But what I'm trying to say is that it's not saying much that that's the most entertaining part to me, because then when you get into the film... For one thing, it's so dark, the whole movie, and we were seeing it at the drive-in, so that might have influenced it a little bit, but it's so dark to where you don't know what's going on some of the times, and it's so cliche, typical jump scare stuff, typical line. Oh, the acting is awful in this film. This is an awful acting film, especially being found footage. It's just the most stereotypical lines ever, where you just have... The one dude is like a pussy, and he's like, man, I don't know if we should do this one. This is different, bro.
Yeah, dude, I called that out because I was like, this fucking guy does this all the time. Like, his job is to like the YouTuber, the main YouTuber, he goes to places that are supposed to be haunted. That's all he does, right? And he has a crew with him that, like, you know, based on what we're shown, it seems like they've been together for a while and they do this together. So whenever they decide to go to this hotel, which they barely know anything about at the time, and this dude, one of the cameraman or whoever the hell he is like, he's like, you really want to go there? You really want? And I'm thinking like, dude, that's literally what you guys do. What the hell are you talking about? It reminded me of Jeremy complaining like, that we're like on a podcast.
You really want to do a podcast? Yeah.
like we're really gonna do a podcast on a podcast? I'm like, well, that's what we're here for. And he's like, yeah, but no, it seriously was like so dumb. I'm like, dude, this is like, and you could tell it's because like the writer of the film saw so many movies where like somebody resists doing it, or like they're like the doomsayer and they need to like have, it's just like, I seriously like face palmed myself at that moment, because I'm like, you literally just put that in the movie because you're used to that happening, when realistically you didn't think about the fact that, hey, this guy does this all the time, so he wouldn't be the person to say that.
Mm-hmm. And they try to justify it because he's like,
I feel different about this one.
Or no, he says, we've never actually been inside, we just walk around them. But still, it's like you didn't think you were ever gonna go inside one of these houses?
Yeah, it's so
like you
dumb.
Thought you were just
it's
gonna
so
stay.
Dumb.
Yeah,
and then like another thing is like, you're telling me this guy got all this success from standing outside of haunted houses?
Yeah.
It made no sense. It was horrible writing. I like that's the type of stuff that will make me instantly like, I can't even get back on board with your movie. Because what does Dave say? If you're not gonna try, neither am I.
I'm not either.
Right. Yeah, that's a classic moment of like, well, if you're not going to try, then I'm not either.
I wanted to leave so bad. And it's an hour and 36 minutes. It felt like it was 3 hours long.
Yeah, like you really needed those 6 extra minutes, you fuck.
Yeah, I was just getting uncomfortable in my seat watching it because I was so bored, and it was hard. It was really hard to pay attention to. But the only reason that motivated me was having to talk about it on this show. Otherwise, I would have completely tuned the whole thing out. But yeah, it's just not good, and the scares really aren't scary either. Honestly, they all pretty much fail. But
Yeah, I didn't like this movie at all. I thought it was super weak. Even like, I think there was like one creepy moment, like in a hall or something, where like somebody's like bends their back over or something that was kind of cool. But besides that, I mean, it was like unlikable characters, unlikable actors, unlikable setup, unlikable dialogue, unlikable. Like, I think the location was like the only cool thing.
yeah,
Just the lead was obnoxious, and I don't even think it was his fault. I think that was the direction he was given with that character, and how to play it. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a horrible movie.
yep, I agree. So shall we rate this bitch?
Well, I got the Letterboxd reviews here first.
Oh, yes.
The first one here, let's see. The positive, which I was surprised I found one, but then when I seen who reviewed it, I wasn't surprised at all. It's a long one. I'll try to read through it fast. Eager to know what happened. Oh, by the way, this is from Dawn and Ellie. 4 stars.
I knew you were gonna say him or Andrew.
Eager to know what happened, the history of a controversial vlogger is researched by a mysterious stranger through his last known uploads, which feature him and a crew documenting the morbid history of a local hotel and coming across the disturbing guests that are haunting the building. This one is pretty solid and enjoyable genre effort. One of the strongest features is the usual assortment of setups that are in play here with the backstory of the area and what's going on at the hotel. I will say that the backstory wasn't too bad. That's me talking. The backstory about the haunting of the hotel and the various urban legends that are told about the guests that have befallen. Like, I like that part where you hit like certain keys on the elevator, and then like a girl gets in with you, and then like that whole thing was kind of creepy. But yeah, in its general design, it's a fantastic location for the creepiness to come. That comes into play with a series of incredibly tense and chilling encounters. Come on, Dawn. Come on. They have during their stay. With the first clue coming to pass from the elevator game they play, this one features plenty of chilling, highly creepy encounters where the groups start getting caught up in the ghosts that live in the hotel, from believing they're simply benign only to be proven otherwise with their physical incidents. Getting emotionally and mentally upset by what's happening to them, or the surreal descent into the basement, which is some of the most terrifying scenes in the film. This section is impressive with quite a lot to like here. These are the film's positives, while there were a couple issues here. Most of the film's flaws here stem from the supposedly hilarious and humorous antics that he partakes in, which neither are funny nor original. Making gags with prop hands, fake heads, and body parts constantly causing discomfort to the friends or loved ones, and generally being a nuisance to anything and everything around him in the name of trying to be funny, just causes him to be off-putting and irritating. These are the antics aren't even that clever or unique as the character traits, as well as don't help this, and makes for a troubling time getting into the film. This is a troubling getting into the review, Dawn, especially with the long intro. Yeah, I agree. Especially with the long intro that gives us a chance to see this in action quite frequently. The other real problem is seemingly disjointed tone and work throughout the film. While most of his antics are designed to be funny and fail miserably, the idea that so many of these scenes that feature hauntings taking place against them or other strange events that are freaking them out, yet seconds later the group carries on like nothing's wrong. It happens. I agree with that. It happens frequently after many of the incidents and has completely infuriating feeling once they keep behaving irrationally to what's going on. Lastly, there are way too many endings here where it could have just been done 1 and 2 instead of where it ends, making it drag on too much. There are these are what holds this one back overall. Dawn, your review is way too wordy, homie. I'm gonna be honest.
But he gave that 4 stars.
Yeah.
That's kind of the end. I agree with like all his critiques. I feel like 4 stars is too many.
Yeah, especially based on what he said was good, was like the eeriness of the hotel.
And that's about it.
Yeah. Chilling encounters. Incredibly tense. Dawn, seriously, incredibly intense. You're telling me this film had anything in it that was incredibly intense?
Dawn has a way of writing. He writes his reviews like, so he uses quite the vocabulary to where you would buy it if you didn't know Dawn, I feel like.
Right.
And then you would be pissed.
All right, let's do the negative one. The negative one here is from, it's a shorter one, T Money Bagels. And they said, half star, logging how bad this was, only so in 10 years when I need to illustrate how weird COVID times were, I can just point to the fact that this was the #1 movie in America in June for a solid week. Oh my god, what a great review that is.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Oh yeah, and then someone else says the poster of the movie features a woman screaming who, like, they're pretty sure isn't even in the movie.
I thought that too.
This movie, oh man, I feel like Don's just trolling with his reviews sometimes. Like, you didn't really like that movie. You were bored as shit watching it.
Yeah, he's too nice.
All right, so my rating, I'm gonna go with a solid 1.5 out of 10.
Jeez.
That is an extremely low rating.
Yeah, I gave it a generous 2. 2 out of 10.
Wow.
It is a move.
Yeah. Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah, do not watch this.
I would never want to watch it again. Ever, 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 ever.
No, it's not fun. It's not even like fun bad. It's just like, I want to die bad.
All right, so that is the episode. I will get to Overboard next week, I guess. And yeah, I think we're gonna try to do Ghost. If I still have that screener, we're gonna do Ghost of War or whatever, the war horror movie that's out.
Oh yeah.
If not, we'll try to find something else. We were supposed to record this one earlier and then record that one like now. But we ended up not doing that, so I think we got delayed. Yeah. But yeah, so I hear fireworks going off. Hopefully you enjoyed the background noise of the fireworks, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.